So, without further ado, let's get rolling on Dungeons and Dumbasses, Episode 1.
Yay!
Woo! Party crackers! On the continent of Eistrand, near the southern seas and shores of the Alban coast, lies the bustling settlement of Port Alderly. A homey township, Port Alderly is home to merchants, sailors, and nationals from other lands that come to trade and barter their goods at the pearl markets. They're famous for their mead, and a large, multi-tiered tavern called the Swallow's Tail is the most popular gathering point for local townspeople, sailors who are coming in with their ships to trade goods, adventurers convening to perhaps get a scope of local work, and just a place to share meal and drink, accompanied by the finest music that the southern coast has to offer. Lit with lanterns that dance with fairy lights and a matronly host, the sound of music and the sizzling scent of grilled seafood and meat is always present. A tavern, a lively light, and an otherwise pretty ordinary town. Along the coast, the one entrance of the tavern, of course, goes out onto the streets, which are a beautiful mix of cobblestone and dirt and plants that sprout up from between the cracks. The other entrance of the tavern opens up onto a large patio with rails from which you can see the sandy coastline dotted with rocks and shells and other sorts of detritus from the sea, and just hosts of glittering waves and ships out in the distance. It is here that an unlikely group of adventurers find themselves coming into town, not necessarily having any connection with each other to begin with, but walking along the street and entering the tavern. Aero, could you describe your character?
My character is currently wearing nothing but leather armor. He has weapons that he purposely hides away without showing them to anybody to keep others from thinking that a dragonborn would be more aggressive than they already expected to be. They don't hide their face. There's nothing covering their head at all. But otherwise, it's exactly what you'd expect it to be. It almost just looks like a traveler, just coming through.
Wonderful. And as you sit down at a table by yourself, it doesn't take long before more people start to spill into the tavern, and without much ceremony, two people, a human and a dragonborn, dressed rather extravagantly one of them and much more simple the other, walk through the front and are sort of playfully bickering with each other. Draconus and then SanSan, could I please get you to describe your characters?
Greetings, I am Draconus, Alexandria, Sydney. I am wearing leather with sparkles all over it, with a little bit of fashionable scents and cloth underneath. I carry a nicely studded with dragon scales lute, or not necessarily a lute, but more of a, I guess, kind of like a ukulele-like. And atop my Draconus head, I am wearing a lovely hat. My scales shimmer as I walk, constantly changing as I bicker with my little ranger friends. And my eyes also change.
And hello, my name is Marread. Just an everyday adventure, trying to blend in into the crowd. would rather people not notice me, but yeah, the sparkling dragon door that keep on getting the most attention.
As Marread kind of looks over at Draconus, rather disgruntled that they seem to be drawing all this attention. Aero, you've taken a seat at a booth that is off to the side. When you walk into the tavern is very large, multi-tiered. So you've got a balcony running around the top with different circular tables. On the bottom, off to one side, is a small stage for traveling bards or local entertainment to play their music. And ringing the edge are booths. So if you preferred more of a out-of-the-way, out-of-eye sort of approach, you could choose to sit there. Along the booths and more towards the middle, of course, you have your large circular and rectangle tables, comfortable seating. There are a number of travelers already sitting down off to one side, seated together, perhaps only because of their infernal heritage, are two tieflings. And if you don't know, tieflings are creatures that have some sort of heritage that stems from infernal blood. So the blood of demons, dragons even, creatures from the nine hells, what have you. It doesn't make them bad, it's just, it pops up in the lineage every so often. And sitting off at a table to the side, enjoying a couple pints of whatever the beverage of the day was, we have two tieflings, a man and a woman, sitting, enjoying some company with each other. Scarlet and then Kyte. Could I please have you introduce your characters?
I'm Scarlet. I'm like, hold on. Like dark maroon color, like reddish more, with purple hair that blends into navy. But I have like metal attachments.
And what color were your eyes?
Bright pink. Blinding pink, maybe, even.
Like a neon highlighter pink.
Yep.
Wonderful. And Kyte, if you could.
I am sitting nursing my drink with my back against the wall, once in a while gazing on the patrons with my heterochromatic eyes, silver blue in the left, red in the right, playing and toying with a pendant underneath my brown tunic, which is covered also with a dark red but simple open robe, as also sitting there with long dark red hair that's almost black unless you see it from a certain light.
And could you describe your horns?
My horns are of not excessively long, they jut straight up and taper off thinly at the top. How would you describe them? Let's see. They have a slight curve to them, not unlike a bayonet, and just as sharp.
All right. Sitting off to the side are two very colorful individuals that walk in through the tavern doors. And it's not hard to stop and stare for a moment, as a very young, almost fae-like wood elf and a much taller, very refined looking half-elf walk in, one of which with long teal hair and the other very petite, delicate. Ariadne and then Kirby, could I please get you to describe your character?
Kirby, you can go first.
Okay. So, Kirby has teal hair, medium length hair, and tan skin, and golden eyes. And she wears a humble clothes.
Ariadne is a wood elf, and she has light green hair and blonde bangs at the front. She wears semi-royal attire, and one of her eyes is white and the other is purple. And she has light skin, which is splotched with scars.
All right. Thank you for that. And now, as people are starting to mill about at the front, Draconus, Ariadne, Kirby, and SanSan, you guys are, haven't met before, but are kind of trying to pick out where to sit. And as you look to the corner, almost obscured in shadow, is a tall, very foreboding-looking Aarakocra. And for those of you who don't know, Aarakocra are the bird people of the world of D&D. Sleek, all black feathers, wide, pitch black eyes, no pupil or sclera, just all black, with a wicked sharp beak. Qrow, if I could get you to describe your character, please.
My character is wearing some black leather pants, a black leather jacket with a hood with it. He got black eyes, but like there's a red circle with them. He loves going to the bar, and he's good with sickles and a scythe. He's in a band also, that's it.
He's definitely the goth kid who's playing in a garage band.
Yeah.
But
And is
also
using GarageBand.
and is using GarageBand to produce his music. But like, it's good. It's good stuff. It's fresh, new metal, not things that have been heard before. I love it. So Draconus, Marread, Kirby, and Ariadne, where are you guys choosing to sit? Are you going to sit together? Are you going to sit separately?
So I'll since I have memory loss and I have no idea where I am or what I'm doing, I'll sit by the window alone.
All right. Draconus, where are you sitting?
You can call me Sydney, but thank you. I think I'm gonna take the seat by the stage. I'm kind of pondering, maybe making some money, throwing my hat down, and putting on quite a show.
I'd rather sit in a corner, but they kept on insisting sitting by the stage. All I had to do is to cover my head completely with a hood.
Oh, please, Marread, you know how good of a singer I am. You just love following me around.
And I will sit in the corner and keep an eye on the people.
So, Kirby, you're just kind of people watching.
Yes.
All right. So, everyone kind of takes their seats, settles in, and as you kind of sit down, the the matron of the bar turns around from polishing a glass and goes, "Oh, fuck, there's a lot more of you here than there was 5 minutes ago." All right, and she grabs a tray and grabs a bunch of glasses and some bottles and kind of stuffs a notepad in her little apron pouch. And as she turns to you, she is a tiefling woman, probably in her late 40s, early 50s. And you can tell she has seen some shit. She is tall, with the horns probably approaching 7 feet. And as she comes around the bar, you kind of see this giant of a woman who comes bustling over to take your orders, whether it be food, drink, whichever. Long curling horns, almost like a kudu or an antelope, and deep blue skin. As her eyes kind of survey all of the new people who come in, you see they are a bright gold, almost a glowing yellow to them. And she would be very scary looking if it weren't for the fact that she generally has a very welcoming demeanor about her. Long, very dark, nearly black hair pulled into a braid that kind of swings by, her mid-back. And as she comes around the corner, you notice that her legs taper into cloven hooves. And she's got her apron on, her pants, and hair tied back, and makes the rounds and goes and hands everyone a bottle, takes a couple copper from you for the food, takes your orders, and kind of looks to you, Sydney, and says, "Oh, you look very fancy, and I can see you've got a lute. Are you planning on getting up there for auditions or something?"
Oh, well, yes, miss, actually. I was gonna hail you over to the table and ask you that. Is there anybody by chance getting ready to play on that wonderful, wonderful stage that you have in this fine establishment?
She kind of thinks for a moment. And, "Not today. I mean, it's just a Monday, so this is not terribly busy, but I'd be willing to see what you got."
Oh, that
Can
would
you,
be absolutely wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, how well can you play?
Oh, how well can I play? Have you not heard my name, madam?
I don't believe I have.
Draconus, Alexandria, Sydney. It would be lucrative for your bar as well. I would throw down my hat and see if the audience here might be as gracious to throw some in, and of course I would give the bar their cut, 25%. Pretty
She
fair.
kind of raises an eyebrow, like, "All right then. I'll give you a couple minutes, and then I'll come back with a drink and a plate of something. But first, get your horse up there and show me what you got." And Draconus, I need you to roll a performance check.
Absolutely, madam. Thank you very much.
So that's a D20 plus if your proficiency.
So I'm just gonna roll a d20.
Yes. Let me grab your character sheet. This is the stuff that we deal with.
Are we part of the same campaign
What do you
on
mean?
D&D Beyond?
I don't know if we're part of the same campaign, but I am pulling up your character sheet to see how much it would be. Okay. Performance. Oh my god. Roll a D20 and then plus 7.
Right away. I roll. Oh my god. Yes! This is starting out amazing.
D20.
I rolled a 20, a nat 20.
Oh my god. So that's
I can take a picture if you don't believe me.
Okay, no, take a picture for posterity, because that's amazing.
That's the first roll of the campaign. I'm gonna take a picture of this.
It's downhill from here.
Oh no.
Yes.
Please. That's amazing. And as she
SanSan can attest
turns
to it.
as she turns to go and grab another bottle, Kyte and Scarlet, she kind of drops to just to kind of top you off for what she got. Qrow, she kind of looks at you and goes, and then because you're very imposing, and she goes, I'll get you some birdseed, dear, and then kind of goes along, and like she means well. She brings you back like a pop or soda or something like that, and as she turns back to the stage, Sydney is just glowing with color. You've never quite seen a dragonborn like this. Just shimmering rainbows across the scales, plucking their lute, playing the sweetest song you've ever heard. Brings a tear to your eye, actually. And she kind of stops and just kind of clutches a hand to her chest and goes, right? Fuck. Alright. Are you good for booking like every night of the week? And she kind of brings you over and kind of signals to the kitchen to get something going. And before long brings you and Marread out a plate of something that smells very good. Sizzling skewers of seafood and so on. And just kind of taps the table and says, it's on the house. You don't worry about paying for that. But no, really, if you wanted to get up there and do what you do, that is fantastic, and like pays you a very genuine compliment. So you got free food out of it, so that's pretty good.
Did I get any coins in my hat I threw down?
I want to say, give me a second. I'm gonna roll.
Sorry, I don't mean to be greedy or anything.
No,
but
you rolled a 20. You get to be greedy. You get you get 20 gold pieces.
Wow.
Can I say
And and 23 copper pieces. Just kind of like a mix of people drawn from the street, kind of like you were right. This is gathering attention from outside, essentially.
Can I say that Ariadne put like a golden bracelet in there?
Absolutely.
Because she's supposed to be royalty, but she has no clue. So she just takes it off her wrists and plops.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you, miss.
Yeah, add that even Aero comes out of the back booth and just kind of drops some silver in there, even though he has not much on him.
Gold, 23 copper, and add 1 miscellaneous golden bracelet.
That's the barwoman's accent, by the way.
What is the barwoman's accent?
I think it's Scottish.
It's definitely like, it's not like Glaswegian, but it's Celtic. Thank you.
So that's 20 gold. I added that. What was the rest?
23 copper.
He's making bank.
He is making bank. And 1 golden bracelet.
One gold bracelet. Doesn't matter how much money I make, Marread's gonna come and take it all after.
That's okay.
She's my agent.
I almost directly added onto mine.
Just kind of take out a notebook and jot down a few notes, flip it so you know how much to tax her later.
There's taxes in this game.
For them, apparently. For all you know, Aero's on the run. Paid his taxes to the crown and like... Anyway. moving on, you all kind of separately sit down to, good drink, very tasty food. There's definitely someone in the kitchen cooking up food that is just very nice. And
Is that you?
maybe. And every so often, you see this little, like, something's going around on the floor, and you can't quite figure out what it is. For those of you who want to try to discern what it is, could I get you to roll a perception check? And that would be a d20 plus your perception modifier.
Yeah, I'm down.
How do I do that?
So you would take a d20
I got a 19.
or... Okay, Scarlet got a 19. So you would roll a 20-sided die, and then you would add... There should be a proficiency modifier underneath your skills and attributes.
Okay, so I got a 19, and I got a +2 on perception to begin with.
Wow. Is that a 19 with the +2, or is that 19 plus 2?
19, so 21.
21. Wow.
Do you mean proficiency?
18, but I don't know where to find the other plus.
Is it a proficiency thing? Like, what's the word?
It is... yes, it would be under skills. So you would have, like, acrobatics, animal handling, and along that line, it's alphabetical. There should be perception. And I am going to pull up pearberry.
Okay, so I rolled 18 and my perception is +4, so that's 22 together.
Okay, and Chris, Ariadne, you are d20 plus 4.
I rolled a 14.
Rolled a 14. Wow, you guys all rolled really well.
I rolled a 14 as well. Plus 4.
14. I don't want to say that this particular creature was trying to be stealthy. Oh yeah, no, they rolled a 2. They're not. They're being very loud, and you hear like the claws scraping, and then popping up between Scarlet and Kyte. You see a tiny orange, like very metallic, fiery colored dragon head. And he kind of looks up at you and looks to one and then the other, and then kind of goes, and then and kind of like skitters away to the next person, and you see the matron go, oh fuck, Toast, get back here. And you see this tiny little pseudo dragon just kind of, and then just up her leg, around her shoulders like a scarf, and she kind of gives him a scratch, and she's like, what did I tell you? Someone's going to think you're a feckin' snake and then step on you, and she just kind of like throws her hands up in the air. So now you know that there is a blue tiefling woman who is running this establishment, a tiny pseudo dragon named Toast. And
That's
a
adorable.
lot of really good food. So it kind of in the meantime, what is everyone doing? We'll go down the list. We'll start with Aero. What is Aero currently doing?
Aero's sitting in the back, and surprisingly, he's not actually having any booze. He's only drinking some water. But he is having a small snack because he can't afford to buy himself anything extravagant off the menu.
So the barkeep will come around and she'll kind of look at you, and would you say that Aero is looking a little bit rough?
Just a bit.
Just a bit. So she kind of takes a look at you and goes, oh, all right, and then kind of gestures to another waiter who's kind of running around because it's gotten fairly busy in here, who kind of like slides you a plate of something, and she kind of just pats you on the hand and says, oh, in the house, and then she goes on her way and walks over to you, Ariadne, and says, you look quite lost. You're right.
Wait, so I'm supposed to say what she says now?
No, you're just, whatever you respond, she kind of comes over to you, mention that you look lost, and asking if you're alright.
Okay.
So now you're supposed to respond.
Oh wait, okay.
Yes.
I looked to her with a blank stare and a confused expression, and say, "I'm not sure."
Alright, fair enough. I mean, fuck, what are any of us doing around with our lives these days? Alright, you look a bit young for the drink, so I'll just fill you up with some water for now. And she kind of goes on, kind of looks back at you and a little bit like, seen weirder. And, of course, comes to fill Sydney and Marread's food, takes away the plates, and walks over to you, Kirby, and kind of taps her hand on the table and is asking, like, can I get you anything?
I would like some orange juice.
Orange juice. All right, I can do that. She kind of like taps Toast on the head, and he, and then scuttles down and comes back a few moments later with just this little. He's walking on two legs. He's trying real hard not to spill it. He doesn't spill it, and he kind of like holds up this glass of orange juice and puts it on the table, and kind of looks at you like he's got a tongue out.
My gift best.
He very happily receives the ear scritchies. He's quite happy and pleased with himself, and he kind of goes up back around her shoulders again, and she's like, I taught him that one. So, if he's going to be around, he's going to earn his keep. And she kind of knocks her hand on the table and moves on after receiving payment from you. And so, and then she stops at the table with Kyte and Scarlet and just asks, like, yeah, right, there's, anything I can get for you. She's kind of making her rounds.
I'll have another ale, but while you're at it, I'll also have some information. You've caught me in a good mood. I didn't expect a tavern like this to be so lively, much less be owned by a tiefling woman such as yourself. Mind telling me how that came about?
You mean how I came to own the tavern, or how I came to be a tiefling? Because I've been one for as long as I can remember.
Well,
jokes
yes,
with you a bit.
Of course. How did you come about owning this tavern? After all, it seems like things don't really go well for our species.
She kind of looks at you and nods, and well, that's true. And it took a while for people to really come around to the idea of a tiefling owning and operating such a lively business. But fact of the matter is, I was an adventurer for many years. I, slayed monsters for hire and made sure to keep people safe for the right amount of coin. And it's during this time where she's kind of got her one hand on the table, one hand on her hip, and you can see she's quite muscular. But along the blue skin are also a number of slightly discolored scars. You can tell that this is a person who has seen a lot of battle, but lived to tell the tale. And she kind of ponders for a minute before, well, the old owners, about 15, 20 years back, really ran the place into the ground. And since then, we started off small and expanded the patio in the back by the sea and added a few more floors and just made a policy of not discriminating against people who come in here. So the Swallow's Tail is a friend to everyone, as long as you're not an arsehole. She kind of looks at you like, all right, you seem like a good bean.
Good woman, I assure you I'm no such arsehole. But I imagine still a place like this might have the occasional trouble.
Actually, and she thinks and stands back for a moment as a tall, very built human man walks in, and upon seeing him, you'd think he would be the rough type, but he really just looks tired. And he kind of, waves to the tiefling, who waves back, and she's like, "Afternoon, Zoran. Afternoon, Talia." And he goes and over to this large job board that is posted off to one side, and you can see that there are flyers for different sort of odd jobs and things like that. And he goes and he taps something onto it and gives her a nod and goes and kind of sits very heavily in the corner. And she turns to you and says, "We've been having a fair bit of trouble around town lately, and the mines closed a few months ago and have not reopened." And she kind of looks over to the board and says, "If you're looking for work, I'd recommend checking that out. And you might find some coin in it for you. You might find some whatever you're looking for. There's odd jobs, things like that. You could definitely go take a look." And she turns to you, Scarlet, and she asks, "Is there anything I can get for you, dear?" Scarlet, that's your cue.
Sorry, I was getting a spoon for a bit. So, what's going on?
You were getting a spoon for a bit. So, the barkeep, which you now know her first name is Talia, she turns to you after explaining to Kyte that there has been some trouble recently, especially with the mines in town that have shut down a few months ago. A tall, scary but tired-looking human man came and pinned something to a job board and then went and sat down in a corner and is now in the process of either dozing off or ordering food. And Talia turns to you and asks, "Well, is there anything I can get for you, dear?"
Talia, if you're done being seduced by hot stuff over here, I'd like a jar of Narg nut butter, please.
You would like a jar of nut butter?
Narg nut. It's like peanut butter?
Well, I'm sure we can scrape something up. And she kind of, gives you guys a nod, goes back to go look for nut butter. And Aero, you had wanted to say something.
Yes, can Aero be eavesdropping on everything they're talking about regarding the mines?
Absolutely, he can. And
You don't have to roll dice, right?
no, you don't, because she's not trying to be stealthy about it. She's tired, and a bit weary about the conversation, just because, trouble in town is never good for business. But no, you don't have to roll. You can pretty much hear everything. But I want to say, how far are you sitting, roughly? If they're sitting off to one side, are you on the other side of the tavern?
Well, I'm in the back, so...
Okay, so you're more in the back.
Yeah.
I'd say just roll a d20 for me.
I got a 1!
You get bits and pieces. You get mines, trouble, job board, nut butter, and then that's all you get.
Even though I do have foreign investigation, I don't know if that helps.
That's still a 5. An investigation, it's not so much investigation as just listening in. Fatal misunderstanding. The mines were closed because of nut butter? But you get bits and pieces, and you are welcome to go check out the job board if you want. So, yeah, and she comes back a few minutes later with a small jar of something, uncorks it, sniffs it, and goes, I think think this is what you're looking for, and like hands it to Scarlet. And what do you do?
Is there a spoon?
She did hand you a spoon.
I open that bitch up and go at it with a spoon, check the images channel.
Oh god.
It's just a spoon in a jar of Jiffy peanut butter. So,
It's an erect spoon.
it's an erect spoon in a jar of peanut butter. Yeah, no, the nut butter's good. It's homemade, so it's got all the natural oils in it, and it's salty and sweet and to your liking.
Thank you, person.
My mother makes homemade peanut butter.
Envy.
She kind of like gives a Vic's still seem weirder. Kind of goes on and starts polishing glasses behind the bar and just, you know, every so often casting an eye around just to make sure that no one's trying anything or start any fights or just, you know, tavern business. Every so often you'll hear the of the skittering of claws against like the shiny wood floor, and that's got a few dents in it because, you know, like, fuck, maybe a Goliath dropped their hammer or axe or something in the floor at one point. Every so often you'll see Toast pop up and kind of look around and
shuffle around like.
Yeah, just like, and then, you know, flap the wings and kind of goes over and looks at the new posting on the job board, doesn't read common, and then kind of goes, and then, you know, goes back to do whatever it is that a dragon does. So, is anyone going to take a look at the posting on the job board?
Everyone's going.
Could I
can go.
Could I end? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could I end the show and call her over?
Of course.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Sure. Talia kind of comes over, is still kind of polishing a glass, and kind of nods at you like, you know, that was some good shit. And I've been in places, taverns, shows, lots of them. You're really good.
Oh, that is so kind of you. Speaking of business, here is your 5 gold. I received 20 gold in total, it looks like. He looks at the hat and jingles it around. Yeah, about 20. So here's 5. And I would give an extra 2 if you might have some information for me.
I'll take that. And she kind of pockets the 7 gold and crosses her arms and looks at you. And, so what kind of information are you looking for?
So, being a bard as myself, I am, of course, always looking for adventure and opportunity, because real-life experiences make the best of songs. Would you know, well, in anything really interesting going on throughout the town? Something that's weird, adventurous, things of that nature that you think might make a good song or story?
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Persuasion check with advantage.
So it's a d20 plus your persuasion bonus, which is plus 7. Roll
Thank
2,
you, okay.
and just let me know what the 2 scores are.
Okay, roll 2 d20.
Yeah.
Okay, rolling 1 and 2. I'm gonna roll them at the same time.
Okay.
I rolled a oof. I rolled an 8 and a 2.
8 and a 2. That's still 9. Because, okay, so an 8 and a 2. Oh no! It's 8 plus 7, so that's 15. No, you're fine. Goddamn, D&D make me do math.
Simple math.
Aero, you know what I passed grade 12 math with. Shush.
You know what I passed grade 12?
Yeah, more than me. Anyway, so that ends up being, what, a 15 on that. She kind of nods at you and kind of takes a moment to think, and, well, there is one thing that's been happening around here. I was just telling the Crimson lad over there, the mines have closed down recently, and you wouldn't think that would be a problem, but there have been some strange sort of tales that have been happening around that. None of the workers there seem to want to talk about it. They all seem like they've seen a ghost, and if I didn't have the tavern to, I've been out of adventuring for years, but I would definitely go and take a look at it. The problem being is I have a business to run. So the mines are it's Alderly mines if you're not from around here, and primarily precious metals, gemstones, geodes, you name it. It's a very lucrative business, and it brings in a lot of people. Despite being a port town, it's still one of our biggest industries. No one ever talked about what was happening. No one ever explained anything, and the frickin' foreman's gone missing.
Oh,
So Zoran over there, and she points to the tired-looking human man who's now enjoying a breakfast of, because it's early morning, is enjoying a breakfast of fried eggs and thick slabs of meat and a glass of something that looks strong, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And Zoran was the second in command at the mines. He has not said a damn word about what's been going on, and it's driving me insane because people keep fucking coming in here and asking why. And she kind of composes herself, but you rolled pretty good on this, and she'll say, but that's not the only thing that's been happening.
Oh, please go on, madam. Thank you.
So, the Lord and Lady Alder preside over the town, and if you go up the road north and you branch off a bit, it takes you through a bit of woods, and you go up to Alder's Manor. But no one's come in or out of there for a number of months now, around the same time that the mines started shutting down. And no one's seen hide or hair of them for a while, and last time we tried to send someone up there, they didn't come back. So there's been a bit of unease around the town, so if you're up for it, you might want to check the job board, because I have a feeling that Zoran posted something, and that's really all the information I have. She kind of shrugs and is tired.
I think I put my hand on her shoulder, I look into her eyes and give her a smile, and I say, thank you so very much. That's not much, but here's an extra 23. Maybe get yourself a drink, and I know things have been tough. You seem very tired. Try to take it easy, okay?
She kind of nods, alright then. Thank you. And she's kind of, you're very charming, but she's not sure if you're hitting on her, so she's like, I think I'm a bit too old for you. In her head, she takes the money, she thanks you. She goes about her business.
Okay, I finish my action by throwing SanSan or Marread 6 of my gold for her cut and the golden bracelet.
Pay your taxes.
Hey Marread, think this will fit that sexy wrist of yours? She doesn't respond.
I just quietly take everything in and put it in the pouch. I don't want to put anything on my wrist.
So you can mark down in your inventory, Marread, 1 simple golden bracelet.
And 6 gold, because I'm minusing all this from mine.
And 6 gold.
And also for lore purposes, the bracelet has like the royal a royal pendant on it. So.
Oh, so it's like a very, very delicate sort of golden bracelet. That's very cool.
That's cool.
So, Aero, you are going over to the job board. Is anyone else going with him?
Yes. I'm going.
I'll go.
Okay,
Arrow-
so
Arrow's staying behind, but he's kind of like seeing that they're going there, so he's like, well, might as well.
Yeah, I'll wait until there's a bit of a crowd, and then I'll walk over while holding my jar of nut butter.
Yes, nut butter.
just the nut butter. I love it.
I'm still eating out of it.
This is the best bit right here.
This is nut butter is gonna be a joke. I tell you. So like it's safe to say that pretty much all of you are crowded around the board.
Yes. I'm in the back, but I'm watching.
So you guys get up to the board that's big ass cork board. It's got all kinds of things on it, help wanted. There's an advert for courtesans for a few streets down. There's an advert for, like all kinds of odds and ends, but the freshest one that was posted by this rough-looking human man is one of the biggest, has a sizable reward, and has the words on the top, "Serious inquiries only." And then it has his name, just Zoran, underneath. And the description is along the lines of exterminators wanted. Must
Zoran?
be. It's exterminators wanted. So looking for help with some monsters in the mines. And just sort of like that, hoping to take back what's ours, and for inquiries, please see Zoran. So that's what you guys see. It's very simple. The reward is 100 gold, and that is 100 gold total, not per person, which is scribbled at the bottom like I ain't fucking rich, And so that is what you see when you go up to the job board. What do you guys do?
I want it. I want that.
Aero contemplates for a minute. He thinks about it. It's like, is it really worth 100 gold? It seems pretty dicey, but he's like, you know what? Doesn't hurt to ask. Let's figure it out. So he goes first before anybody else can even turn around and go.
Can I roll a perception to see them and see their interest?
Zoran or Aero?
Like, can I scan the room and see if when she can I scan the room and see if anybody's taking a look towards the job board? Because in my character's mind, we're pretty good, but I don't know if we can exactly take on this mysterious quest by ourselves. So I'd like to scan the room and see if there's any possibility of seeing other people that are interested in doing it to maybe talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll a perception check.
Awesome. Sorry if there's background noise, my headset died.
That's okay. You sound fine.
There's no reverb?
Not really, no.
Awesome. So I roll a d20?
Yes, and then add your perception.
I have passive wisdom perception, which is 15.
That's passive perception. That's if someone was trying to be stealthy against you.
Oh, got you.
So your perception is +5.
Okay, so I'm rolling a d20 right now. Oh gosh. It's a 5.
It's 10. From what you know, people are still a bit starstruck from your performance.
Okay.
But other than that, like, generally, people seem to be somewhat interested, and there are a couple people who kind of get up, look at the board, shake their head, and go and sit back down. From what you understand, the general air this is that people have heard enough, they've heard enough negative things about it, and the fact that no one's really talking about it, and the fact that Zoran is now putting up a post seemingly willing to talk about it strikes them as a little bit like, you can tell like the people are a little bit superstitious, but there are a couple people who've come up and kind of like, all right, nodded, jotted down the info in a book and pocketed that and kept going.
There was one of them.
50-50. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the board then and just stand by it with a friendly smile and see if anybody comes up to it and actually wants to take it.
You are free to take it down if you want to. Like, if you don't want other people to take a look at it, like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
No, I actually do want other people to take a look at it, because if somebody tries to take it down, I'll be like, hello there.
Hello there. General Kenobi.
Can I team up with Wolven?
Yeah, if you guys want to make some idle chatter and talk about it. And Aero, you said that you're going over to Zoran to talk about it. So what do? Do you just walk up to him?
Yeah, I approach Zoran. I wait for him to notice me. I don't say anything to the stuff sitting next to him. And then I ask him. I tell him, so I've been looking at the board. And I know 100 gold isn't a lot, all things considered. But what's the deal?
Give me like 2 shakes. Are you trying to go unnoticed, or are you just going up to him and waiting until he notices you?
Just waiting for him to notice me.
How tall are you?
I believe I put in on the ref sheet that Aero's actually fairly short, all things considered. Where can I find it?
No, that's okay. It would be under your... You are 5'10". Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not terribly short. Oh, shit. Okay. Doesn't notice you at first. He's pretty tired, and he's kind of like, you know, fork stab, kind of sawing away at the food with a knife, and kind of, you know, pops a piece of meat in his mouth and is chewing, and he kind of looks up at you, looks away, and then does a double take and goes, fuck. What can I help you with? Kind of looks at you like...
I tell him I'm here for the ad on the board. I want to know exactly what's up, and I want all the details right away.
Make a persuasion check. So you're going to roll a d20, and you are going to add a 1.
A 1?
A 1.
I got a 13. So 14 in total.
Not bad. He kind of looks at you and takes a swig of whatever it is. It stinks, whatever he's drinking, and it's strong. And you can kind of tell, like, he's a little on edge. He doesn't quite know who the fuck this little sneaky dragonborn is. He kind of looks at you and says, so you want to know all of the details about what happened in the mines?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Alright. He kind of, you know, he continues eating and kind of gestures for you to take a seat. And he kind of looks up.
Before he speaks up, Aero quickly just says, if you want serious inquiries, you might as well be serious yourself. I'm not here to fuck around.
kind of nods, and he's like, I respect that. And he gestures for you to take a seat. You can tell he's like, all right, this little guy's pretty spunky. Let's see if he can put his money where his mouth is. And he kind of looks over at the board and looks and sees you standing there, Sydney, and goes, you know, it says serious inquiries only. We don't need a guard for the post. Come over here and sit down. If I'm going to tell you, I might as well tell all of you. He kind of like raises a hand and gestures you over, and you know, you guys can pull up seats if you want, like grab a chair, kind of scrape it over. Is it safe to assume like you're all coming and sitting down?
Yeah, moving close enough to
Yes.
hear.
As long as Scarlet brings the peanut butter or the nutter butter.
I'm bringing it, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm coming as well.
Like, hold on one second.
Are you looking to add to the nutter butter, or?
No, I was
I
was wondering what Qrow was laughing at, but I mean, this is also good. So Zoran kind of looks up at all of you and kind of like looks over at you, Scarlet, and goes, "Oh, I see you found the nutter butter. It's very nice." And like, you know, he kind of like finishes up what he's eating, pushes it aside, and kind of puts both arms on the table, clasps his hands, and sighs. And you can see, like, you know, he's a very burly, very strong human man, kind of got like dirt and grit under his nails. Like, he's someone with hands, and he's you know, short cropped hair, 5 o'clock shadow, and surprisingly weary for, like, not wary of you guys, just weary to kind of talk about it. And he says, well, about 3 or 4 months ago, we were working in the mines, and there was something that started picking us off one by one. At first, it was someone who we thought was late, just slacking off from work. And then the foreman, he went missing. He didn't come home from work one day, and we had talked to his wife, and she's been distraught ever since. Usually things are quite peaceful down there. It's, you know, you go in one way and there's no way for anything else to get in without you noticing. And it was almost like the place was haunted, until one day a group of them, the rest of the miners, came back screaming and turned tail and left the mines and would not tell us what had happened. With the disappearances, with the fact that people were so scared they didn't want to talk, we had no choice but to condemn the mine and shut it down. And it started to bleed the town dry. Like, we rely on that, so I figured we'd finally throw the feelers out for some sort of exterminator. He kind of looks at all of you and looks at you, Aero, and kind of nods. You were right when we said serious inquiries only. But, whatever it was down there, I only got a glimpse of it. And it was huge. Enough to make grown men piss their pants in fear. And he looks to the rest of you, kind of appraises everyone, kind of looks at you, Ariadne, like, you're very small. But I don't judge, it is whatever. And kind of like looks at the group of you and says, you know, I'm not a fighter. I'm just a worker. I have no magic, I have no whatever. But if you guys maybe go together, you might have a better chance of dealing with whatever is infesting the mines. The local police, the wardens, no help. Total bullshit, if you ask me. And he kind of like rolls his eyes and he's like, we had the sheriff go down just to take a look. Said there was nothing in there, that we were raising a fuss for nothing. This thing, it comes and goes. We don't know what it is. But we need to get them cleared out so we can get back to work. And, you know, we're willing to pay the coin if you're willing to take the job. And he kind of looks at you and kind of goes,
This is like a parent forcing two kids to be friends.
Like, I don't want to do too much. I feel like I've already been butting in and doing a lot. Does
it's
anybody
okay. Keep
does
going.
anybody want to maybe check him, or can I check him?
I would like to do a background
What are you
investigation.
saying, Yasmin?
Well, I would like... No, I mean, I was gonna roll a perception again, or maybe a charisma, and just like smile at him and just ask him if he's not telling us everything.
Oh, because I was gonna say, well, his Twitter bio is MinerMan420, and it's like one of those dad selfies where it's taken from like too low of an angle. No, I'm kidding. Kirby, you had mentioned that you wanted to do a background check on him.
Yes.
So that would be an insight check to see if he is telling the truth or not. So, Kirby, could you roll a d20 and add 4?
Got 11.
He's being truthful. Like, everything he said, the general weariness of his voice, the exasperation at the local authorities, and the fact that he's just a guy who wants to get back to work because he's probably got a family to feed. Like, you can tell he's being genuine.
Can I roll to see if he's not telling us everything?
Yes, that would be an insight check. So you could definitely do that if you wanted to roll insight again.
What would be the best way to... Would it be any different if I were to try to just talk to him truthfully and be friendly? Would that involve charisma, or is it just basically all insight?
It would be insight, but
okay.
Yeah, you could try.
Okay, I go up to him and I give him a nice smile and I'd be like, "Good sir, I know you're tired and I know this weighs heavy on your minds, but for us to be able to accomplish this daring adventure, we must know everything. Are you holding anything back from us? Not telling us the whole story?" Can I roll for a perception or whatever?
You roll for insight, I would say. And are you attempting to cast anything like? Okay, I see that you don't have like charm person. So yeah, no, that would just be like roll an insight.
Okay, I'm rolling a d20. I rolled a 7.
He's being totally honest. Like, he just kind of looks at you and looks at like the fancy like attire compared to him, like haggard, dirty, works with his hands. He's like, okay, there's Snowflake. no, there's nothing else that I have to tell. Like, do you want me to tell you what I chat out this morning after breakfast? Like, he kind of looks at you sideways and like, but
As
no, like
interesting.
there's no. Go ahead.
Sorry. As interesting as that may be, sir, I don't need to know that. I finish my action by casting message while putting my hands in my pocket and pointing at Marread. And I ask her by using the spell or cantrip message. So, what do you think? Basically, this is a way to be covert because nobody else can hear this except for her because I'm casting a cantrip called message.
This is true. So, Marread, you hear a voice in your head, flamboyant, and there's something sparkly about the message, even though it's in your head, asking you what you think. Should you go for it?
So how do I reply him?
You just whisper back and nobody will hear.
Yeah, just in your head, reply back.
I guess we'll go for it.
I smile at her and give her a wink. Okay, that's all.
All right. So Zoran kind of looks at you and goes, I mean, if a troop full of untrained miners could not handle this, maybe a troop full of whatever the fuck you are can. We just want our jobs back. And he kind of like nods at all of you and kind of takes out like a piece of scrap paper and a pen and kind of looks to you, Aero, and says, so if you're all interested in this, let me write down your names so that I know who to pay if you manage to get the job done. It kind of starts with you, and is everyone writing down their name?
Writing mine down.
Yeah.
Aero lets everybody else speak up first before he decides for himself.
But you do write your name down.
Yes.
Where do we
Everybody
write the
else
name
puts
down?
their names in, Aero writes his name in too.
Okay. You're just like, Zoran's just like passing a piece of paper around the table and just getting everyone to write down their name. And so that he knows who to contact should,
Should we not all die?
Well, should you die, he'll know who to contact, but also mostly for payment. Like you can tell, like, he seems like a pretty stand-up guy. He's a little bit grumpy, but overall, seems like a pretty cool guy. Like, just the kind of person to shoot the shit with, have a couple beers. Honestly, just seems like a guy who wants his place of work back. And he takes the paper back and looks at it and he says, all right, if you guys can manage to pull this off, you're going to have a pretty good fucking reputation in this town, eh? And then he folds it up and tucks it back in his shirt pocket and kind of claps his hands and says, well, I don't mean to rush you all, but if you want, when you're done eating, I can show you, exactly where we're looking at for, like, show you the mine entrance and such. And he goes on to kind of just like nod, like, yeah, I'll show you where it is, at least to give you an idea of where you're going. And Kyte, you have a meta question. I would love to.
Yeah, this is more just for like you being the DM, and also because this is our first campaign together. Are we preferring that we all kind of stay within the same, I guess you could call it storyline, or what if like two parties split off? One goes to the mines, one does something else. Is that going to be an issue?
I wouldn't say that would be an issue so much, but it might make looking at, like, it might make storytelling a little bit difficult.
Right.
For now, if we could stick together, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And as we get farther on, diverging storylines are always a possibility.
Gotcha.
Can I... Oh, and by the way, guys, if I'm taking up too much time and stuff and doing too much stuff and not letting anybody else do anything, just let me know and I'll kind of step back and stuff.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You're doing great.
You are doing really well so far. And just a side note, for people listening post-game, this is everyone's first campaign. This is my first campaign dungeon mastering. So we're all learning together. And honestly, everyone's doing really well so far. Like, this is going really well. It's very balanced.
Could I talk to him and ask, is there anywhere private in this establishment to where this brave group of adventurers could kind of converse and plan?
Soren kind of looks at you and, I mean, you could always rent a room upstairs, but, you know, what even is this accent anymore? But he kind of looks at you all and he's like, if you want, I can take you over to the mine entrance. It's very deserted. No one goes near it. And if you wanted to sit outside and plan, you could do that. So, and he kind of like thinks to himself and nods. He's like, the mines are just outside of town to the south, and I can show you. And he kind of like gets up, does the thing where, like, you know, he's either worked in food service before or, you know, he's good friends with Talia, and he kind of like cleans up the table a little bit. Doesn't want to be rude, and kind of like, you know, stacks napkins and stuff like that. And Toast kind of and like looks up at him and, you know, gives Toast a little pet and gives him a piece of meat that's left over on the table, to which Toast is just like
And I hold
it's
Toast.
very exciting. Make an animal handling check.
Okay.
So you're going to roll a D. What the fuck is my PDF reader? So you're going to roll a D20 and you're going to add 4.
Okay.
That's
Well, I
7.
rolled 2 by
So
accident.
11 total.
I'm gonna roll again because I rolled 2 instead. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh. A 12.
So you got a 12. So you go to pick up Toast, and he does the thing that cats do when you pick them up from the middle, and they kind of get long. and you get the sense like, is this dragon gonna come up with me? And then he kind of like, and like looks up at you, and he likes you. He remembers you from earlier. And you kind of can pick him up and cradle him like a little baby, and he kind of like looks up at you with his little, you know, like bright yellow eyes, and kind of like licks a nostril.
Can I walk up behind Kirby and pat him too?
Roll an animal handling check for me.
Okay, how did I do that again?
So roll a d20, and then for you are going to add again a +4. Why is everyone rolled really well? So yeah,
Except me,
got
who rolled a
19.
fucking critical 1.
you got a 19.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also rolled a 1.
You are trying to pet the dragon too?
Oh no, not me. I wasn't trying to. So earlier I got a 1.
Oh. Well, he
Well,
like-
someone has to sacrifice their role, so.
Aero, the world's clumsiest rogue. I can see it now. Anyway, Toast kind of looks at you and kind of does like the thing that dogs do sometimes, where they sniff really loud and kind of. He looks at you and he can tell that you're a creature of the forest, someone who's good with nature, and he kind of flips a little bit and then pushes his head against your hand like a cat that's really enjoying the attention. And his back leg starts going a little bit. So Zoran kind of like looks at all of you and he kind of laughs a little bit. He's like, right? Gets up.
Sorry.
Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
I pack as much leftover food as possible?
Yes. Are you trying to be... Well, no, because you guys aren't paying for the food. You don't have to be sneaky. Talia comes over to you and she'll kind of look at you and see that you're trying to pack up the leftovers and go just like, oh, hold on a second there. And then she'll grab like a takeout bag for you or like a small cloth bag to hold food in that's not going to leak everywhere. She'll hand it to you and you can definitely pack up the leftovers.
Can I ask for like some kind of berry juice box?
Yeah. Talia will just kind of take a look at you and a little small. Just, all right, then she'll go back and rummage through the kitchen, and she'll come back with like a decently sized corked bottle of like this deep purple juice, and she'll hand it to you and kind of like pat you, do the mom thing where like they put it in your hand and then they put their hand over top, and she'll be like, you know, that blackberry juice, squeezed berries.
Can we say that the juice is literally called some kind of berry juice?
Yeah, some kind of berry juice. And she's like,
my favorite friend.
You know, it's berry bushes growing right outside of town. It's just some kind of berry juice, and they just rolled with it with the name, and it's charming, isn't it? And then she kind of like is making sure that everyone's like good to go before they go off. Talia has definitely taken notice of the fact that you guys have all agreed to help Zoran, and she's surprised, a little concerned, mostly for you, Ariadne, because you're small. But yeah, Sydney, what do you want? What do you want to do?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Could I get the cheapest drink for all my newest friends, alcoholic and non-alcoholic for those who aren't drinking, and a glass of your finest for myself and my companion here?
Can I pay for it?
Are you paying for everyone's, or are you
I am.
Okay, so Sydney is Kirby, you are welcome to pass the barmaid a couple of coins if you want, and she'll be like, all right, round for everyone. Fast friends, isn't it? And then she kind of like, she goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of you. All right, how many non-alcoholic? And then whoever doesn't want booze can raise their hand, and
I just quietly sip on my juice.
You've got your juice already, so she'll come back -1 because she's already given you one, and she'll hand everyone various bottles of little travel bottles of whatever beverage they want, and she'll be like, before you go, and then like toast kind of like, and then he'll kind of scuttle down like a cat that's had enough, and kind of up the legs again, draped across the shoulders like a scarf, and kind of look at you like blink blink, like eyes that blink not at the same time, and she'll just look at you and be like, Zoran's a good man, and he kind of blushes a little and he's like, hey, shut up. And she'll look at them and she'll be like, but if you all see anything that you think you can't handle, you come back to me, I'll help stitch you up. And she kind of nods at you all and goes to deal with the patrons, and at which point,
such a mom.
She's definitely a mom. Don't know if she's got kids, but maybe she's like, like the cat mom who's got like a legion of dragons. We don't know. And Zoran will nod and thank Talia, and he'll gesture to all of you and take you out into the bustling streets of Port Alderly. At which point, it's just after breakfast time. Like, dawn has come and gone. The sun's up. You can hear the sound of the waves crashing against the shore. And it's kind of like a walk and talk sort of situation. Zoran kind of looks back at all of you, and as he's walking, he'll say, "You know, I've been a miner for 30 years, maybe more. I've never seen anything quite like this. It's almost like a madness has leached its way into it. Definitely feels evil. And you can tell that this man is big and strong, but oddly unsettled by things that have been happening, and he'll kind of explain as you go, like, part of the reason no one wanted to talk about it, I think, was because of that feeling. It's hard to put a finger on it, really, but you guys seem pretty strong. And he'll look at you, Kyte, and he'll look at Marread and Qrow, who's got a huge fucking scythe, and kind of nod, and then he'll look to Aero, who, small but scrappy, and Ariadne, who is small but a little bit unsettling, and he'll kind of like shiver a bit and be like, but here, and he'll walk you along the path going south, just past the outskirts of town. The Swallow's Tail is, and as you look back, you can see that it's a very large, multi-tiered, and around every floor is hanging lanterns and a balcony that runs all the way around. It's about 4 stories high. And, you can tell, like, it gets quite busy. Of course, like, above the main tavern are probably, like, beds that you could, like, make your home at, or rest if you needed to. Yeah, like, this is the Swallow's Tail where you guys just came from. Like, looking back at it, you can see it in all of its grandeur now that the sun has come up, and you have a better look at it. A beautiful building, a combination of wood and stone, has a cobbled together sort of feeling about it, but in a way that's beautiful and very clean. And as Zoran takes you out just past the town limits, you're heading south, so to your left, the coastline runs up and along and out into the distance, and on the right, rolling plains, until eventually you go over a hill, and you are at the top of a rather large hill, and around it is a quarry. And for those of you who don't know, a quarry is basically a tiered sort of man-made structure where you can see that people have sheared away parts of the stone. Yeah, to reveal the ore and precious minerals beneath it. Down near the bottom of the quarry is a large entrance. Almost looks like a cave entrance, only it's reinforced with wooden beams around the outside, arcing. The wind is kind of gently blowing and almost seeming to blow towards the mine entrance. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny and bright, white fluffy clouds in the sky. It's springtime, but getting to late spring, so it's fairly warm outside. You can smell the salt from the sea, and he kind of stops at the crest of the hill and gathers everyone around and says, "That is the mine entrance. It's, there's a river that runs underground, so you will need some form of light to not fall in, but we have lanterns. Still have oil in them from when we left it, and it hasn't rained much since, so you should be fine. But, if you wanted to make plans, now is the time, here is the place. He kind of looks to you and kind of sits back, like on a boulder, legs apart, like elbows on the knees. So what are you guys doing?
Can I gather everybody around and bring up a conversation?
Sure.
Yes. So one more thing. Since my character can do magic with like paintbrushes, Ariadne can like make a circle of light for like a few people.
Well, that's what we was gonna discuss. Like, I was gonna ask everybody and bring up in conversation everybody's abilities so our characters like could know it.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
No worries.
No, yeah, don't be sorry. No, yeah, so... When you mean, like... do you mean fairy fire?
I don't know, something.
Okay, like a dancing lights, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright.
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 Go ahead, make your plans.
So Aero sits on the floor. He doesn't really wait. And he's like, I'm gonna make this very simple. I'm fast, I'm small, but I'm not a fighter. So if we're going to kill this thing, I'm going to need help. I can lure it, I can find it, but I can't kill it.
I scoff and say I'm a fighter.
That's it?
I chime in and it's like, oh, that's very fine. That's very valuable information. Thank you. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Aero. Nice to meet
Aero.
You creature. He kind of looks at you up and down, unsure of what to make out of the presentation you've provided everybody since everybody got to the tavern. You don't really appear to be much of a fighter to him, and he's kind of wondering why you're tagging along, but he just doesn't question it, he just kind of lets it go.
So, like, my character kind of would probably, since people, this is why he wanted to kind of bring it up, to put people's mind at ease. Since he's like a bard, like, what could he do in fighting? That's another reason why he wanted to get in conversation. So everyone, you're kind of probably wondering how this little loot I have here might be useful in fighting.
Did you charm the creature?
No, actually, despite my charismatic nature and otherworldly looks, I am more of a support than anything. If you guys get damaged, I can heal your wounds by touching you. If you're too far away, I could give you a nice little pep talk and heal you, but it's not as much if I would touch you. Another thing you guys should be careful with, if there's a lot of enemies, I can put them to sleep, but if you're in the same area, well, let's just say you're gonna take a little bit of a nap.
See, I'm not convinced because you are telling me you want to touch people and put them to sleep. I am worried.
Is that something your character says?
Yes.
Oh,
no, don't worry. That's why Marread is here.
Marread
make
chimes
sure
in.
that he's in chat.
Oh, I assure you it's nothing of that nature. I'm surely here just to keep you all, my new friends, alive. So, yeah, I could... Okay, well, long story short, I can make people blind / deaf. I can cure you. I can make you beefy. And I could also make one of you invisible. But I typically just work well best with Marread.
I softly say, I want to stay alive.
Well,
Just try again.
stick with me, and I can help you with that. Anybody else? Like, what useful skills that you guys might have that might help?
Like to add something. I have 60 feet dark vision, like I can see in the dark. And I cannot be charmed or I cannot be put to sleep by any magic.
That is very useful.
All right.
So if you're in the midst of a fight and you're the closest, Sydney can cast a spell and you won't go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That is
He
very
kind of looks
useful.
over at Kyte and he's like, all right, so what about you then?
Are you then, big man?
Roll for these.
I can also cast minor illusions, turn someone invisible, disguise myself if need be, and get within range of my targets by using Misty Step. Is that what it is? Yes, it is. Teleportation.
All right. So we won't get too deeply into like the names of spells and stuff like that. You don't, and keep in mind, you don't have to explain your entire ability if you want to. You choose what you disclose.
So, do I say what I can do?
If you want.
You say whatever you want your character to say.
Okay. So I look down at my drawstring pouch that has my paints in there and paintbrushes, and it says, it's like embroidered cursive Ariadne on there, and that's how I remembered my name. And I say, I can use these to make spells and magic and make things go poof. But she doesn't really understand it because she has no memory.
Aero just kind of rolls his eyes a bit and he's like, right, okay. And what about the big guy in the back? Scythe boy with the beak. He kind of looks up at him, kind of fearlessly so, and he just kind of like thinks, you know what? My plan is simple. He is big, he looks strong. I lure the thing, he kills it. Any objections?
Zoran kind of looks over at you, Aero, and says, you know, whatever's down there was enough to make grown men piss their pants, so I wouldn't be so cocky if I were you. And he kind of like acknowledges the fact that you're helping, but also tells you like, you know, be careful with this.
Can I be mischievous?
Yes. Always.
I point at Aero, and I put my hands in my pockets and I kind of point at Aero because that's a prerequisite of this cantrip. And I use message and I roar in his head.
Roll for intimidation. And so that's a d20 plus 4, and Aero, could you roll a
For plus 10 sassy.
could you roll a d20 for me, Aero? And add your wisdom modifier.
Was Aero the one being cocky, by the way?
Oh, is that a +2?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
So I got a 16, so 18 total.
How much did you roll?
Just checking. So Aero is the one being cocky, right?
Yeah, and basically this is a contested roll. He rolled a 16. How much did you get?
I rolled a 16 as well.
Oh my god, we're playing rollies. Is that a 16 plus?
No, that's just 16 flat. I don't know what my added score is.
So that would be intimidation, so that's +4.
I'm minus +2, so he beat me by 2 points.
Aero, you hear this, like, And Sydney, is this like a deafening roar, or is this like a eerie building sort of roar?
This is a roar that wouldn't, like, I didn't do it that loud enough to hurt him in his mind. I just want to give him a nice little scare to kind of put him level-headed.
You can't harm him with message, but this would count as intimidation. And Aero, in your head, you hear from seemingly nowhere this like building, like, and it just gets louder until it's a full-on dragon in your head, and it shakes you a little bit, and you kind of go, oh, fuck, where'd that come from?
I laugh and
Not so sassy anymore.
I laugh and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, my friend. I didn't mean to startle you. I just forgot to mention one of my abilities. It's called message. I could point at somebody and I could communicate with just them, and only they can hear me, and they can communicate back.
Having this flamboyant rainbow dragonborn in your head kind of like brings you down, like knocks you off your horse a little bit, and you're
Aero just kind of sighs, annoyed more than anything, and he's like, anything else?
Oh, I think that's just about it.
Marread.
Marread just did an eye roll to Sydney because Marread knows what Sydney did, but then Marread said, like, I think we need more information right now. I think we should find some local animals, and I can talk to the animals and try to get as much information as possible.
Ooh, that's smart.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Animals as in
like
animal
various like animals, like various fauna. And Kirby,
Oh, I can do that too.
You had mentioned something, Kirby.
I think the wood elf can help with that. And Marread as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe the two of us should go to find some animals and gather some information.
You could check the surrounding area if you wanted to see if there's any like woodland creatures or anything. Just past the quarry is where trees and things start to spring up, so the chances of finding animals around here is not it's not impossible. If I could, you could either do this individually or you could help each other. Could I get Marread and Ariadne to roll perception checks to see if you can find any animals to talk to?
So, like, roll a d20?
So that would be a d20 plus your perception. Ariadne, for you, perception is +4. And for...
I got a 9?
Yeah, yours is +4 as well.
Rolled a 13.
Rolled a 9 for 13.
I rolled a 13 plus 4, that's 17.
Wow.
Okay. And as part of your ranger abilities, Marread, you are able to communicate with animals. Okay, let me just take a look one here.
So, in the spells, I select the one that's speak with animals as a spell.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Player's guide.
While you do that, I'll quickly grab another bird.
Okay. Wall of stone. Speak with animals. I apologize, I'm not familiar with rangers.
Sorry about that, Aero, by the way. Just having a little bit of fun.
Aero went to go metagame and grab a burger.
Let's just pretend that you messaged that information into again.
Yeah, I could just point at him and be like, sorry about that, just having a little bit of fun.
That's actually terrifying.
It is low-key terrifying, but it's hilarious, and I will...
You could like make like the most ungodly sound in anyone.
Oh,
Major
no,
spells.
While you're looking up that,
First
I
level.
can tell people that
Animals.
I can communicate
They
with them
suck.
with the pointer or whatever.
He
Really not
does
well.
that with me all the time.
I'm in her head. In
I
her
am
head,
sorry.
like zombie.
In your head. In your head.
Wolfie.
Just like speak with animals. There we go. You gain the ability
Wait,
to
does that mean-
comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration. So you can mark off one spell slot as being
Okay.
consumed for the day.
Mhm.
The knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence, but at minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations and monsters, including what they can perceive or have perceived within the last day. You might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favor for you at the DM's discretion. So, Ariadne, you look around and you are taking a look at all of the, just kind of like wandering off a little, looking around, and Marread joins you for a few moments, and in a nearby tree, kind of off to the side to the quarry, there's a small cluster, and you see a little, and there's a bushy, fat gray squirrel that just kind of looks down at you and just kind of is, perched on a branch up, looking down at you like, what is? And then
I go, and then the squirrel comes down onto my shoulder and then whispers in my ear.
Okay, and it was Marread who had cast the spell. So you actually see a second squirrel, smaller, more sleek, still a gray squirrel, kind of look down like doing like the, the squirrel talk. I don't know if that's coming through on my mic at all.
It is.
It is.
Awesome. And kind of looks down at you, and you can understand what it's saying. So what do you want to ask?
You can go first, Marread.
So, just want to ask the school if they have seen anything.
Marread, we can't hear you very well.
Wait, what? Oh, I think it might come from my mic. So I want to ask the school if they have seen anything today. If they...
Marread, we can't hear you.
Oh, I can hear her.
Oh, you can?
I can make out. So you're asking the squirrel if they've seen anything or like noticed anything happening, heard anything. So are you and Marread are kind of asking together. And to only expend one spell slot if you want, like Ariadne, you could feed questions to Marread, that's fine.
Okay.
The squirrel kind of looks at you and does like a little, like, licks its paws, cleans its face, and then asking, have you seen anything scary, kind of stops and kind of recedes a little bit and goes, like, the rest of you just hear like squirrel chatter, like squirrel nonsense. But Marread, you can hear the squirrel saying, down there, kind of points at the quarry, at the entrance to the mine, and goes, scary, big, don't like it. And then kind of like, does the whole thing where like a cat's scared and the tail kind of goes and like, some friends went in, didn't come back, and kind of like scutters off. And then the second squirrel that's sitting on Ariadne's shoulder kind of goes, lots of legs. like very high-pitched voice, like,
Lots of what?
too many legs. Scary. Sharp. Danger. And kind of, like, you know, gets, like, you kind of get, like, the cat that's like, okay, no, enough, you've done holding me, and kind of, like, scurries off your shoulder and back up the tree, and you can see the two squirrels that are in there. They are squirrels, intelligence not that high, but, like, whatever it is that's down there is unsettling.
+2 intelligence.
Yeah, that squirrels are they have the stupid.
They rolled a 1.
They're just not terribly intelligent. But they, from what you gather from everything that they've told you, something is down there that has many legs, is scary and sharp, dangerous, and people who have come out of there, or who have gone in there, have not come back. So, like, you can gather that whatever it is unsettling the local wildlife.
Well, I think we need information from being more intelligent than squirrels. Hey, Aero, you're a sneaky-looking guy. How about if I cast invisibility on you, and you just go inside the mines and let us know what you find?
Well,
You can cast invisibility.
Can I roll a persuasion on him to see if I can get him to...
You could, but before you do, Zoran kind of pipes up and says, you know, I hired the lot of you to... wrong accent. I hired all of you to go down there to check for me. So, if you're going in, all of you are going in. What you do after that, I don't care. But you're not going to play chicken with one of you. He kind of looks at you, and
Aero just kind of sighs, and he's like, cool.
If you're gonna die, all of you die.
Thanks, Zoran. Love you too, buddy.
He's like, Aero's like, I'm not saying I was gonna say no, but I like his idea.
Maybe you want
If
to
you-
go inside.
if you want to go inside and then cast the invisibility, is fine.
Gonna help it.
But I don't want you playing chicken. Like, you get the sense that he's personally, like, from a moral standpoint, not comfortable with sending in the little guy as, like, a scout and then potentially getting him killed. He's like, I would feel very, very bad about it, you know? I have conscience, I have little kids.
I could reinforce this and say, Sydney says aloud, oh, I've been with Marread for quite a while, and invisibility might help with some beings, mortals even, but if we're dealing with a creature, there might be a chance they can smell, and I'm sorry, friend, but if they can smell, our little friend is gonna be a chicken dinner.
Am I allowed to say a power that might help?
Yep.
Of course.
I can blend in with the shadows, become almost invisible.
Ooh,
Again,
very-
Oh,
if they can
so
smell,
So you don't have
that
to,
might be a
like-
problem.
So you don't have to take up like a spot or something.
Either way, we're going to have to go in first before we can execute any of these plans. So who's with me?
I'm down to going to getting everybody in, but I feel like despite the possibility that the creature might smell us come in, I still think we should have the stealthy ones up front to scout a bit further than those who wouldn't be able to.
Okay, if that's a good plan too, then I think I can help out with invisibility, because I can cast one on somebody else as well.
I am naturally stealthy, especially forest.
I am just like an owl. I make little to no sound.
I'm like
Okay.
almost 6 foot and am carrying 2 large weapons, so
Girl, you loud.
You're like,
Well,
I'm about to fuck it up.
I cast
also
invisibility on
naturally
myself just to be safe because as much as I'd like to join you guys, I'll just be behind you. I'm very, very squishy. I'm more for support, not for front
Yeah.
lines.
Is it possible
That's
for
fair.
like me to draw with like, you know, like a spell around me to like a shield kind of during battle or something?
It depends. I need to find your character sheets. That's the wrong one. So for your spells, you. Okay, hold on. Tangle, Fairy Fire, Goodberry, Heal, Jump, Strider. You do not have a spell that could function like that. That being said, when you do cast spells, if you wanted to use your paintbrush and draw through the air as like a flourish, kind of like for flair, you could do that. But you do have to go off the spells that you have, and currently you do not have one that adds extra armor. That being said, your armor class is not great. 11. So while it's not terrible, it's not the greatest. So we shall see as we go forward. But so from what I understand, we're going, like, you guys are going to head down the quarry and to the mines and through the mine entrance, and you're trying to be stealthy.
Yeah, I cast invisibility on myself when we get into the mines, like at the moment we enter and it starts to become dark.
Aero is already naturally stealthy. He will most likely not need invisibility.
Yeah, I am naturally stealthy as well, and forest is my natural environment.
Well,
Okay.
Wait, so we're going into like a cave, right?
You guys are going into a mine entrance. Now, bear with me for 1 second. What is the marching order? Like, who's going first? And then in what order going?
I
Sydney's going
propose
last.
that. Yes.
Sydney's going last.
I propose that
Very
my
nice.
teaming Sistren go first alongside our newfound feathered friends, as they seem to be the biggest and most combat capable.
Okay, so Qrow in front, and then Kyte and Scarlet shortly behind.
I'm down.
And then Aero, Kirby, Marread, and Sydney, and Ariadne towards the back. So, like,
I also have a.
Okay.
Can I point at Marread and tell her to stick near me so I can cast things on her just in case things go awry?
Absolutely, you could. As Zoran kind of, gives you a nod and like a salutes, like hand over the heart, and says, "Good luck." He's going to go and sit by the entrance to the mines and just generally keep an eye out for any trouble or anything like that. And
You brought a beer.
he probably has one somewhere, or like a flask. Unscrews a flask, kind of like takes a sip. It burns. As you guys are walking in, the mine entrance is quite large, and that's actually exactly what I was just like one hand over the heart. It's not like you're marching to your deaths, I promise. So he's like, as you go into the mines, you've got the large arch with the support beams that kind of like repeat every so often. This is a rough-hewn, rather like quite large enough for you to be like 4 across, and fit comfortably. veins of just absolutely gorgeous minerals and gems, like, kind of strike through the walls every so often. A bunch
Well,
of
these
you
aren't
have
mines
dark.
yet, right?
Yeah, so you were just entering the mines, and just he did mention that there were lanterns. Did anyone choose to take one?
I took the spell thing, so I don't.
Okay, so you just cast some fairy
Fire
fire
thing.
to make light.
Yeah.
Sydney did.
Okay, Sydney took.
Aero didn't.
Aero didn't, but as a dragonborn, do you have dark vision? Question of the
Kirby
day.
doesn't need it because she has very good vision in the dark.
But I do think like a few of us do have dark vision. Like,
Yes,
at
I
least
have.
3 of us.
Okay. Let me. I'm almost positive that as a dragonborn, dark vision arrow. Just double checking. Here we go. Dragonborn. Da, 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 da. Come on, give me racial traits. Damage resistance. Dragonborn, racial traits. No. Give me 2 seconds. Interesting. Saying Dragonborn not have. So.
Can I just say, Kirby?
Yeah, no. So, I was gonna say, but like, I don't mean to cut you off, but by the light of, the fairy fire from Sydney's lantern, and the fact that most of you do have dark vision, I would say that like the lighting is decent enough in here that because you're all grouped together, there is a fairly large radius of light around you, so you're not blinded by any means.
Is this
Can I cast
fire-based light?
Oh, sorry, Marread?
Yeah. Can I cast a spell of detect poison and disease?
Detect poison or disease is if you are looking at something and you wanted to detect if there is, like, if it was poisoned or diseased, say like food. It wouldn't really apply in this scenario.
Gotcha.
So as you
check illustration.
Is this lantern fire-based?
this lantern is fire-based. It is an oil lantern.
Nice. That's all.
So, and it is filled with oil. So you are not in danger of running out anytime soon. You would say that you've probably got like at least 6 hours worth of light. As you guys are walking through the entrance, you can hear the faint and then growing closer sound of. And if you swing your lantern over to the side, you can see that joining you across the how should I say, like joining you across the cavern is the underwater river that Zoran had talked about. A deep, crystal clear blue water, frothing gently. It's not rushing. It's just it's a steady current. Now, as you are all trying to be stealthy, I need you guys for the first 100 to 200 meters, everyone to roll a stealth check.
With a d20?
So that is your d20 plus your stealth modifier.
Alright.
And I
So
have
I rolled
invisibility
a
right now.
15 and I have a 7 on stealth, so that's a 22.
It's 22.
I rolled a 3.
A 3 plus.
He's basically just
I got
walking
a
just like
12.
A
every
3
single
plus
step.
a
He's
1, I
like,
got
yeah,
4.
I'm right here.
Okay, hold on. Scarlet, you rolled a 12 plus
Plus nothing.
12. Okay.
12
So,
plus 3.
okay, so a 15. Kyte, what did you get?
8 total.
8
Oh.
total. Okay. And Kirby,
9 plus 5. 14.
so 12. Oh wait, no, I'm dumb.
14.
14. And Sydney,
I have a 14 total, but I'm invisible, but I also do have a disadvantage because I'm currently wearing leather armor that makes me resistant to fire.
so roll again. Oh, actually, no, you know what? Because you would have advantage and that puts you at disadvantage, you're right, it's a straight roll. So, Qrow, what did you get?
I don't know what I'm doing. Do I go to like advantage or attribute?
So, you would go to skills, and you would go stealth. You would roll a d20 plus your stealth modifier, which I can grab for you.
Oh, yeah, on the website,
It's-
guys, you can just
it's the-
directly
Yeah, you
go
can just
on your little skills and click on it, and it'll give you the final one.
Oh, you can roll on the website. That's useful.
Yeah,
I
go
don't
on
need
the
my phone.
numbers that says bonus, and like go to stealth and then click on it, and then it will tell you what your total is.
you get this nice little animation on the site as well.
It is nice. And sorry, what did you roll?
I rolled a 17.
Plus 3 is 20. Okay. And sorry, Sydney, what did you roll?
I rolled a 14 total,
Right, 14.
but I'm also invisible already.
But you have disadvantage because you're wearing something loud.
You're also holding a lantern.
But that becomes invisible too.
But if that's invisible,
my
then
Does that
skill.
work?
So, alright.
Anything that I'm holding, anything that's on me, also becomes invisible with invisibility.
But the lantern is invisible. Light from it is. So, it does still cast a soft glow, allowing others to see.
Gotcha.
You just can't see yourself, and you can't see the lantern that you're holding. So you kind of look just like a glowing ball right now. So you
Ooh, I
did
like
just have
that.
a straight roll because you are invisible. You would have had advantage, but due to this and the fact that you're wearing loud, it's just a straight roll. As you guys are walking deeper and deeper into the mines, it is becoming quite cold. And about 200, 300 meters in, round a bend. And as you keep going, you can kind of hear the drip, drip, drip of the stalactites and the condensation kind of flipping into the water. Every so often, you might get a little bit of a drip on your face. It's cold. It's clammy down here, but no sign of any monsters yet. So as you round the bend, you're kind of, you kind of head left, lean left a little bit, following the direction of the river. Is anyone doing anything as you're walking?
Aero's just walking forward, looking around, trying to stay hidden.
Okay,
Qrow keep using those around him to stay hidden.
I'm investigating.
You're investigating?
Sydney's
roll.
doing something too.
Go ahead. Ariadne, what are you
Oh.
doing?
Oh, I'm just brushing my hands on the spikes and admiring them.
So you're brushing your hands along the spikes, the
Stalactites.
so stalactites are on the stalagmites are on the ground, but there are some.
Yeah, I know.
And I was gonna say, are you floating all the way up? But
Oh wait, it's a big cave. Never mind.
it's a very big cave. But you could say, like, brush your hand against a stalagmite as you pass, because they are, like, every so often, like, one will kind of jut up from the water. They're kind of just dotting the surface. They have mostly been cleared away just for, like, the mining path. So as you guys kind of turn,
Oh, Sydney was doing something too.
yeah, and as you guys kind of turn, Sydney, what are you doing?
Sydney takes out the drink that he got from the bar earlier, rips off a piece of cloth, and then ties that drink in its container to the lantern.
Are you trying to make a Molotov cocktail?
Sydney might be trying to make a Molotov cocktail.
Absolutely, I will allow it. You have, roll a dexterity check for me, please. So just
God,
a
please don't
straight
roll a one.
D20 plus
Please don't roll a
dexterity, just for Sydney, please.
Please
Got
don't
you.
roll one.
Dexterity. I'm looking for it. What were you want? You want a dexterity check?
Yeah, just,
Okay, I'll roll.
No clumsiness.
Oh my. That's a 7.
Oh no,
You
it's gonna be a
have-
bad cocktail.
you spill half the bottle,
Oh darn.
but you do manage to make a ramshackle makeshift Molotov cocktail. If you had have rolled a 1, this could have ended very badly, but you didn't. But you did roll poorly, so you have one. Don't know how effective it's going to be.
Did he spill any of it on himself?
Oh no.
I'm going to say no, because he didn't
Okay.
roll a critical failure.
That's fair.
As you guys are walking through the cavern, and as you guys are just kind of coming out into this the next part of the mines where it's much more open, you can see, kind of looking around, you come into this open area and it looks like this is a sort of way station. There are some mine carts filled with various ores, gemstones, things like that have been left abandoned, one of them even overturned, spilling the contents of it across the floor. There are some large crates that are stacked up against one wall, various boulders strewn about, abandoned tools. It looks like whoever left this place left it as soon as possible. Now, Ariadne, you're kind of running your hands along the stalagmites. Are you running them along, like, most of them just kind of going up and checking and, like, poking and, like, oh, this looks interesting? Because a lot of them are veined with, like precious jewels and things like that. They are very pretty.
Yeah. I'm just like in awe and like feeling the water drip on my hands.
Okay. Aero, you said that you were looking around, and you said that you were, I'm just kind of investigating, and Kirby, you said that you were as well. Could I get, and you could either do this separately or you could help one another. If you help, only one person rolls and you get advantage, which means that you roll twice and you take the higher number. Could I get Aero or Kirby to either help one another make a perception check, or make them individually?
Should we do it together?
Okay.
So I'll roll, I guess, and then see what happens. Got a 10.
You got a 10?
Yes.
And was that separately, or were you helping each other?
We're helping each other.
Okay. And that was the higher roll?
Wait, and now is she supposed to roll as well?
No, you roll twice.
Oh,
You take the higher.
Okay. Well, 14, so that's better.
As Ariadne is running over these stalagmites, you see one of them moves ever so slightly. It ripples. And what was once stone, what was camouflaged to look like stone, an eye opens on it.
Oh.
It just kind of, I can't make the sound with my mouth, it kind of flips open and the pupil contracts to a pinpoint. It's this bulbous yellow eye, and then another, and then another, and a ring around a mantle of eyes open, and they all kind of look around, and then at once they all focus in on you, Ariadne, and pinpoint on you. And I need everyone to roll initiative. Which means that you roll a d20
I
and
rolled 14 total.
Okay, so hold on 1 second.
Where is the initiative?
What initiative means is you are now all in combat.
Oh god.
And I need everyone to roll a d20 and add your initiative.
The initiative
bonus.
is in the top between
Yes,
armor.
it's right next
I
to your
got
armor
15 total.
You can also click on it to roll and already add the plus.
Okay. So I'm gonna give everyone a
Marread
second.
got 15.
Okay, I'm gonna give everyone a second to roll initiative, and then I'm gonna ask for. Give me 2 shakes.
Okay, I rolled mine.
Same here. I didn't.
I rolled a 16 plus 1, 15 plus 16. So. Sorry, 15 plus 1 is 16. Hello?
I think we're just waiting for Carrie to get whatever she needs.
Yes,
Oh, I thought my thing was broken.
Now Qrow's probably looking up the creature sheet.
Actually, I have the creature sheet. I was using. Has
So
everyone rolled? And don't yet. Did anyone get more than 20?
No.
Okay, 20 to 25, or 20 to 15.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Aero, what did you get?
I got a 16 plus 3, so I got a 19.
Okay, Marread, you got a 15?
15 total.
Qrow, what did you get?
I got a 17 plus, I don't know.
What's your initiative bonus? 17, okay, you got a 20.
Nice.
Okay. And then clocking in at 14, we have Scarlet.
Yep.
Okay, and then Kirby, what did you get?
11.
And Sydney, what did you get?
Haha! Sydney, of course, got a 5.
Ha!
Okay, and Kyte, what did you get?
2.
Never mind, Kyte got a 2. And am I missing anyone? Ariadne, what did you get?
I rolled a 15 plus 1.
Okay, that's... Oh, honey, you rolled a natural 1. Okay, that doesn't matter, though, it's initiative.
Yep.
So... This is our first ever round of initiative, and bear with me for 1 sec. hold on. What does this get to? It's...
Guess I'll die.
Oh, shit, okay.
I don't like the sound of that. Sydney does not like the sound of that.
Okay, I'm just writing this
Here,
down.
oh shit,
Oh,
okay.
I'm gonna die.
Anyway. God damn it, Qrow. Qrow, you are up as you see this bulbous monstrosity shiver to life, its eyes opening just like a... And then they all open and then lock onto Ariadne. You see from beneath the waves a tentacle, and then another, and then another, until there are 8 arms kind of swaying, and it has not
Fucking
attacked.
squid.
It has not attacked yet, but it it is just staring menacingly at Ariadne, its beaked mouth opening up and clicking as it's been awoken essentially from its slumber, and it's reaching towards her because it's not sure she's noticed yet. What do you do?
I'm going for that motherfucker. I'm running towards him because he's fucking hungry or some shit.
All right, and you are running towards him, or it rather, and so what you would do is roll an attack roll. So roll a d20.
I got a 9.
9, okay, and I believe this is plus your strength. So that's an 11.
Damn, that's not that good.
It's not good, but it is that is its armor class is 11. So you are you swinging with your scythe?
Yeah, scythe.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Sydney has seen enough
Scythe 5e equipment. Technically, it is a farming implement.
That's nuts.
We don't go about the rules here.
It is a heavy two-handed weapon, though, and so you swing with your scythe, and you manage to cut it alongside its face, across one of the eyes, and you hear it just, and it kind of like pulls back from Ariadne. Roll damage for me, so I need you to roll 2 d4s. So the little 4-sided die, or just a d4.
Fucked on. I got a 3 and a 2.
Okay, so that is 5 points of slashing damage. So it's 5. Give me 2 shakes. I'm working on it.
Can Aero do anything?
When it's your turn. So, okay, so we're at that many hit points. So as you take your scythe, you think that you're gonna go wide, but you manage to hit the eye, and take out one of its eyes. Like, that looks like it hurt. So you have done your action. Is there anything else that you want to do?
I go for him again.
Can you do that as a blood hunter?
I don't know.
Okay, so you do get 1 attack per round.
Okay.
But did you want to move at all?
Hell yeah, I want to get away from him.
Okay, so
I'll go near
you can move about 30 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
You
Can I
can't get
move
the
in?
hell out of there, right?
Can I move in front of Chris?
You can move and kind of push her behind you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so you kind of, as you rush forward, you swing, you catch him across the eye, and in the same movement, you kind of flare a wing out, and kind of throw your arm out, and just gently back Ariadne away from this creature. Its tentacles kind of snatch back, and it kind of looks around and is confused. And Aero, you're up next. What do you do?
I had a plan in mind, but things changed. Honestly, at this point, just step back and possibly purposely hide behind Sydney so that Sydney can have his fun with it.
So you're not taking any action towards back, out of its grasp. Are you trying to do this like stealthily? Because like you would have been like scouting among and going through the and like you would have been fairly close to this creature. We're going to like trying to get away from this without getting hurt.
Yes, so I'm doing so stealthily. I'm not actually putting somebody up front. I'm just removing myself from the danger.
Okay, bear with me for 1 second while I check.
Sydney is invisible, by the way. You had to find me first, bitch.
Standard actions, bonus action, cunning action.
You're nothing but a ball of light.
As a bonus action, you can choose to disengage, and you can choose to hide. So you can get away from this tentacled monstrosity without it taking an attack of opportunity at you, which is when you disengage and don't have that ability. So good on you, rogue. And what you can do is you can disengage, but you cannot hide. So you can get away from it, and get out of its reach. No, you don't need to roll for it. This is a class feature because you're.
Sweet.
So is that all that you're choosing, just to get the fuck away from this thing?
I'm just like, bibbidi bobbidi, get the fuck out of here.
So next, it is the monstrosity, and it's kind of like and like thrashing a bit, and it flings out a tentacle, and goes for you, Kirby.
Kirby's gonna get got.
And I need to check your armor class. Kirby, what is your armor class?
11.
It rolled a 12. So it does hit. And it is going to attempt to crush down. It's become enraged because it just got one of its eyes gouged out. So a tentacle comes up and crushes down upon you. Hold on. Oh, fuck. And hits you for 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
9 points?
So take 9 points off your total hit points.
Well, can I do anything?
Not until your turn. The next person, and it is going to leave it at that, and it is going to... Oh no, sorry. Oh no, okay. As the tentacle comes down and crushes you, it wraps around you.
Oh.
You are now grappled. Which means that you currently cannot move. And it's just holding you there, squeezing. You do not take any additional damage from this, it's status. So you are currently grappled. Next up is Marread. What are you doing?
So, can I cast a spell first and then hit?
You can do one or the other.
Gotcha. Well, I'll do the longbow hit then.
Okay, roll d20 to hit.
Alright, 25.
Holy shit.
Nice.
That
Wow.
hits. How much damage does your longbow do?
What does
So-
2d8 plus 1 mean?
So you roll a d8, so the 8-sided die, you roll it twice, and then you add 1.
Okay, so, oh, only 6.
Oh.
6 points of damage, okay. So as
It
you...
says 6 crit.
6 crit. Okay, did you... Hold on. Did you roll a 20 plus 4?
20 plus 5. So I directly clicked it on the longbow one. I have a plus 5 and I rolled a 20.
Oh my god, okay, you rolled a natural 20, which means you get to double the damage. So you rolled 6, that is 12 points of damage.
Nice.
This thing's looking real hurt. As you pull your bow back, you kind of just whip it off your back, knock an arrow, and Legolas style fucking and shoot it through one of its eyes. And it just lets out this horrendous scream of pain. You can see like the beak underneath the mantle just almost slack-jawed. This thing's looking real hurt.
Does it like go?
Pretty sweet wings.
So
Does it let go, Kirby?
I would say with a
I don't
roll
have
that
to
high,
feel bad for it.
it's the tentacle loosens and sloughs off into the water. Kirby, you are no longer grappled.
Yes.
Yay.
I'll save you.
Thank you.
Ariadne, it is now your turn. Oh wait, sorry, Marread, are you moving at all? Away from it, closer to it? Are you just like kind of positioning yourself? What are you doing movement-wise? Staying in the same place?
Well, since longbow is a ranged weapon, so I'm gonna get away from it as far away as possible.
Okay, as far still within, like you're not disengaging the fight, you're just giving your distance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that you move back probably towards where Aero is. Not covering him, just around the same distance. Ariadne, it is now your turn.
Okay, what are my options?
You could attack, you could move, you could cast a spell.
Okay, what spells can I do again?
What do you want to try to do? And then I can kind of guide you through it.
I want to, like, I don't know, maybe, like, help someone? Like, help heal Kirby or something?
You could walk over to Kirby and you could cast Cure Wounds. Which all you have to do is touch her. It's instantaneous. And let me just check for Cure Wounds. Come on.
No.
Cure Wounds, Cure Wounds.
Are you guys not getting in the holiday spirit?
Cure Wounds.
Does Scarlet still have the Nutter Butter?
Scarlet definitely still has the Nutter Butter, are we kidding? Spell attack bonus? Is that your spellcasting ability modifier? Yes, it is. So, a creature that you touch regains a number of hit points equal to 1d8. So what you would do is, if you're casting it at first level, which is what you have, you would roll a d8, an 8-sided die, plus 4. Do you want to do that to Kirby?
Yes.
Okay. So you move over to Kirby.
A
D8.
wait. I got a 6.
Hey, that's really good. A 6 plus 4, Kirby, Ariadne kind of, like in the sprightly, flightly way that she does, kind of carefully, like patters over to you and just gently lays a hand on your shoulder. And as she is drawing through the air with her paintbrush, a soft, gentle glow emanates from her hands, and you regain 10 hit points.
Oh, wow.
You can feel like the bruises fading, and this is so you are back to full health. Ariadne, where do you want to? Do you want to move anywhere farther, or are you gonna just stay with?
I'll just stay with Kirby.
Okay. Scarlet, it is your turn. What do you want to do?
That's me.
That is you.
So it's like hurting and stuff, right?
It is looking like it's pretty badly hurt.
Can I just run at it and like try to slam its body or something? Like
you want to
run and jump on it with my.
It is technically in the water. If you want it, like, are you want to try to body check it?
I don't know. I have a hand axe and a light hammer, which are both short range, so I don't think I could do a whole lot without like literally jumping on it.
That's fair. Like it is right up against the. So you could take a swing at it with your hand axe if you wanted to.
I'm down. Do I check
Alright.
damage or hit?
You have to roll to hit. So roll a d20 plus.
total.
Holy shit, that hits. Go ahead and roll for damage. Hand axe is 1d6 plus 3, a 7.
Oh, hold on. I rolled a d. Yeah, no, I did roll a d6. That's a 7 total.
1d6 plus. So you rolled a 4.
A 4
plus 3.
Plus 3, yeah.
How do you want to do this?
What do you mean?
This guy had 5 hit points left.
Oh, okay. I would love to walk you through it. So.
Absolutely.
I don't know where the frick he is. I run at it, and I just hit it.
So you see, with a hand axe, that is incredible. You see this tall, terrifying-looking tiefling woman, the hair flowing behind her, just screamer-style running at this thing, flips up a hand axe, kind of twirls it in her fingers a little bit, and fucking cleaves down on this thing. And right down the mantle, splits it in two, and it kind of... And you see the two sides just slough into the water and carry on down the stream. It is dead, dead, dead.
Oh, that's such a cool way.
That's when I just yell, "Let's fucking go."
Alright.
That tracks.
Alright, you guys are no longer in combat.
I'm full health.
So, you are at full health, initiative has been dropped, and this dark mantle is dead.
I only have one question about the whole thing. Is the nutter butter still in her hand?
Is the nutter butter still in your hands, Carl?
Okay, so my armor didn't come with pockets because even now we don't have pockets. So I actually sewed on my own jar-sized
Oh my
pocket
god.
because this happens all the time. So I actually have my own jar-sized pocket, and it looks like a tool belt almost. And it's just been jiggling there on my side.
This is the greatest thing.
So after I kill this absolute behemoth, I just reach into my back pocket and take out my jar of nut butter and just
have a celebratory scoop.
Yeah,
just like
celebratory.
And then open it up and then just take a spoonful of nut butter.
Exactly.
This is wonderful. Alright, you guys are no longer in it. Shaken a little bit by the encounter. Perhaps knowing a little better to not touch things in the cave of death. What are you all doing in the aftermath of this somewhat horrifying encounter that you've just had?
I
Eating
am
nut
looking
butter.
over. Yeah, I am looking over at Scarlet, going like, "Can I have
Sharing,
some?"
sharing my juice with Kirby.
Sharing a juice with Kirby, asking Scarlet for nut butter.
Yeah, you want some of my nut butter?
Yeah, I will take some of your nut.
Yes, please.
Aero, what are you doing?
I'm just looking at that saying, if I have to hear you guys
Does
say
anyone have bread?
butter another fucking second, I'll kill you both.
Alright.
I'll share my
Wait,
leftover with everyone.
can we spread another butter on the monster and eat the monster?
I don't know if dark mantles are like calamari, but
Edible in general?
for the sake of dramatics, as soon as it was cleaved into, it did start to drift away on the current, so it is quickly no longer in sight.
We could
It
have
is dead
Does
though.
this mean that there's
we could
more
have
of
used
them?
Sydney's cocktail to make a fire, and then we could have
No,
some nice
Sydney
calamari.
mutters. Sydney's cursing under his breath, saying, "Oh, why did it have to die? I was gonna use my electric breath on it in water."
Looking
I'm
around,
sorry, I did too much damage.
looking around, you guys are fairly deep, sorry, you're not fairly deep into.
Oh, can Sydney make an action?
Well, when you're not in initiative, you can make an action however you want. What are you wanting to do?
I want to cast, what's it called? Inspiration on Marread.
How long does Bardic Inspiration last for?
Until they
What
use
does
it,
it do?
I think. Oh, for 10 minutes.
Okay, if you're not in
How
combat,
long does what?
I would wait until Marread actually takes an action, just because you don't want to waste it.
Understood.
But yeah, you could hold that and just keep it in mind if the next time that they need to make a check.
Gotcha. So when they check it, I can automatically do Bardic Inspiration?
Yeah, just remind me.
Okay, I didn't know if
Can
I had
we
to be
say
my
that?
turn or something.
Can we say that Grazzy's jar of nut butter is infinitely regenerated?
For the sake of lore, I want to say that it's really good. There's something almost magical about it, and
I just imagine it is an extremely big jar, because that would mean that my pocket would have to be insanely large to accommodate it.
I want to say that you have like a little bit of hand space inside of this jar of nutter butter, and in the sense that like there always seems to be more.
The tavern gave me. They knew it. They knew that I had big things coming, so they gave me their magical jar of nut butter.
Talia knows what's up. You don't.
I know, right?
You don't
She
get
was
to
hot
be
and smart.
You don't get to be a barkeep for that long without your way around a little bit of magic. But continuing on through,
like an illusion popping up next to Grazzy, telling her this.
kind of after taking a little bit to step back and, replenish yourselves a little bit, and do you decide to go further into the woods?
Yeah.
I'm sleepy.
I was gonna say, how is everyone feeling so far? Been at this for a little while now.
3 hours.
Almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, but how are we all feeling?
I'm
awesome.
I finished my jar of
tired.
butter.
No, the lore.
I know.
The lore. Now, sorry, hold on one second.
Lore and Savior, nutter butter.
Now, do we want to wrap it up for the night?
Please.
Yeah,
so
it
tired.
sounded like sleepy, and plus
Yeah.
we just went through like.
We may have to wrap it up. SanSan's on final week. We could probably, maybe next week or the week after, we could have like a bit of a longer one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, like having successfully completed an encounter where like Netherbutter was the clear winner of everything. I think that's like that's a successful tutorial.
I think that that's
This
a
is like the
pretty good
perfect ending.
tutorial. So we will say that in the dim light of the glow from the fairy fire, from the lantern, and in the wake of this unsettling encounter with this monstrosity squid-like creation, you successfully beat the ever-loving shit out of it to death and watched its corpse float down the river and then kind of hit yourself on the inside because like, fuck, that could have been sorry. Turning to each other, making sure that everyone's okay. A sense of camaraderie sort of starting to form among the 8 of you.
I feel embarrassed.
Ha, come.
As you turn to continue going down the mines, steel yourselves for the next opposition that you will face. And that is where we'll end tonight's
I
session.
was gonna ask though, can we make a camp and have a long rest or something?
Along 8 hours. So not unless you're sleeping for 8 hours.
Darn. Okay.
You could take a
What
short
about
rest
a short
though.
rest?
Short rest is about half an hour, and you can regain some hit dice. But spells, not so much.
Okay, never mind then. I was gonna give some people some chance to
Would that give
regain
Cherry any health back for Kirby?
Kirby is at full health because Ariadne healed.
Ah, okay.
But everybody saw me in a vulnerable state.
Yeah, it almost got very spicy there.
Smash.
Kirby got grappled by a tentacle monster, and
Qrow will take no responsibility for the results of his actions.
Aero is a shisty little slippery bastard. Everyone loves toast, and
I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it right now. The bad guy of the whole story is actually Toast.
Just
Toast. No.
Toast
Toast is
is
actually a spy for the Dragon Queen.
Toast is actually an agent of Tiamat.
I knew it. I should have rolled an Inception on Toast. God dang it.
I have like perception. What is it? Perception 11 or something. And investigation 10. Wait, no, I don't. Oh, I have dark vision. Oh, sick.
I'm definitely drawing Toast.